Hello, philosophers, and welcome to Philosophy 100, Introduction to Philosophy. My name is John Dryden, and I am the instructor for the course. I will introduce myself more completely in a later part of the course, but in this initial Start Here video, I simply want to show you around, get you oriented, make sure you know what you need to know in order to get started in the course. So first of all, what you're looking at here is the course content page. It's on this page that you'll access and complete the assignments for the course. Before we get into that, though, I should mention that there are other pages on Blackboard, but this is the default page that you log into, this course content page. But in addition to that, you can see the other pages to the links to them on the left-hand side of the screen toward the top. So there's a link to the calendar page here, which you can make use of if you'd like. There's also a link to the discussions. So this course will make use of discussion boards. I will always link out to those discussion boards in the course content folders, so you usually won't need to go to the discussions link in order to get to those, but in case you need to get back to a previous discussion board or something like that, you can always do that by clicking this link. And then importantly, there's the link to the gradebook, and so this will list all of the assignments that have been assigned, their due dates, what their status is, whether you've opened them or whether you've submitted them, whether they've been graded, and if they have been graded, you'll see what your grade is, and then we'll see a link to any feedback that I've given you, and then also a current grade to the top right, which gives you a kind of snapshot for how well you're doing in the course at any particular time. Okay, so this is a good page to go to get the grades that you have on your assignment so far, so you can keep track of how well you're doing in the course. The last page is a message page. I should say I don't make much use of this page. I don't check it very often, so you can use this page to send messages to me or other students, but if you need to get a hold of me, the best way to do that is by email, not by using the message feature, because sometimes I go a few days without checking that. So if you need to get a hold of me quickly, use the email instead of the message feature through Blackboard. Okay, but going back here to the course content page, this is where you'll spend most of your time completing the assignments. And right now there are two folders available to you. There's a Start Here folder, which just contains some basic orientation materials like the syllabus. And then there's the Week 1 folder. So the Week 1 folder contains all of the instructions and links to the assignments that you need to complete during the first week of the course, which is March 14th through the 20th. But let's begin here with the Start Here folder so I can just show you some important info here. So if you click this link, first you'll see a link to the video that you're currently watching, the Start Here video, and then there's a link to a course overview. So this overview just gives you some basic information about the course. It gives you the course description, the course competencies, so these are the goals of the course, my contact information, email address, office phone number. Again, email is the best way to get a hold of me. Little information about myself here. And then also a link to my virtual office hour space. So my office hours are Monday and Wednesdays from 12:30 to 3:30. And you can either meet me physically in person in the JSO building on ECTC's campus in room 128, or you can meet me virtually simply by clicking this link here, and that will take you to my Blackboard Collaborate virtual office hour space, and you can just type your name in there and click Join Session, and then you can meet me virtually in my office hours that way if you wish. So there's that. And then also there's this video about Blackboard Ultra. If you haven't had a course yet in Blackboard Ultra, in this new view of Blackboard, I would recommend just watching this video as it gets you oriented to how to navigate within Blackboard Ultra. Okay, so that's just a course overview. And then importantly, there's the link to the syllabus and the rubric. So I do want to go over the main parts of the syllabus, but do read through it in its entirety when you get a moment. But here is the syllabus. So again, this is spring 2022, and this is Introduction to Philosophy. Again, my contact information here, another link to the virtual office hour space, the course description. I won't read all of that to you, but again, do read through this in your own time when you get a moment. One important point here is under attendance, time commitment, and student expectations. So it mentions here that every student must log in and complete a philosophical health check assignment. I'll show you where that is here in just a minute. But you need to complete that by March 16th, by the end of the day on March 16th, which is earlier than all of the other assignments for week 1 are due. So all the week 1 assignments are due on March 20th, with the exception of this philosophical health check. This is an ungraded assignment, but it's the method by which I register attendance for the course. So you need to complete that by March 16th, or you're going to be administratively withdrawn from the course. So make sure that you complete that. I'll show you how to complete that here in just a minute, but I wanted to note that here. And then maybe what you're most interested in is evaluation techniques. So this is how you'll be graded in the course. So as you can see here, there are different kinds of assignments. So first of all, there are Learn Smart assignments. Learn Smart is an interactive study tool that adaptively assesses students' skill and knowledge levels to track which topics students have mastered and which ones require further instruction and practice. So every week I will provide you with a reading from the textbook and then a corresponding Learn Smart assignment, which will basically quiz you on what you're reading through the textbook. And then if you get questions wrong, that's okay. It will just keep asking you questions on that concept until you get them right. So you should be able to get 100% on all of these Learn Smart assignments as long as you give yourself enough time to complete them. So the more answers you get wrong, the longer it's going to take you to complete them. But as long as you eventually show that you understand all the concepts that it's assessing you on, then you will get 100% on those assignments. Okay, so those are the Learn Smart assignments. And I have a video on how to complete these Learn Smart assignments in the Start Here folder. I'll show you where that link here is here in just a minute. So that's one kind of assignment. The second is lecture responses. So I provide lectures over the week's material through a tool called VoiceThread. And VoiceThread is a tool that allows me to deliver presentations, and then it allows students to comment back on those presentations, either through a text or audio or video. And so during some of these lectures, I will provide a prompt for you to respond to, and so you will need to comment back on those prompts. Or I might just require you to watch the lecture in its entirety, and those will be graded. And I'll show you how to complete these. There's another video that explains how to complete these assignments as well, which I will point you to here in just a moment. Okay, so those are going to occur every week, Learn Smart assignments and lecture responses. And then also every week there will be a discussion board prompt for you to respond to. So you will be required to participate in a discussion board by addressing a prompt that I will provide. And then the following week, in addition to providing an initial response to the new week's discussion board, you will also offer replies to what other students posted the previous week. So for example, during week 1, there's an initial post for you to complete on discussion board number 1. And then next week, week 2, you're going to go back into discussion board number 1, reply to 2 students, and then there will also be a new discussion board post for you to write your initial response to. And then in week 3, you'll respond to just what students wrote in discussion board number 2, as well as write a new post for discussion board number 3. So that pattern will continue through the course. So those are discussion boards. And then almost every week there will be a quiz over the week's material as well. These are short multiple choice quizzes over the material in the reading and lecture. And then the more weightier assignments are the 2 test and the critical analysis papers. So there are 2 tests assigned throughout the term, each of them covering 3 chapters from the textbook. So the first 3 weeks of the course will cover 3 different chapters, and then the 4th week there will be a test on those 3 chapters. And then weeks 5, 6, and 7 will be 3 more chapters, and then finally in week 8 there will be a second test over those last 3 chapters. So 2 tests, each covering 3 chapters, so there is no cumulative final exam over the whole course. Each test is covering half of the course material. And then also there is 2 critical analysis papers. These are short papers, about 800 to 1200 words, so it's about 3 pages if you double space it. And there will be 2 of these assigned throughout the term, where you will offer an analysis of an argument presented in a primary source that I will provide you, along with a critical appraisal of that argument. Okay, that might sound intimidating right now, but don't worry, I will give you much further instructions as we get closer to the due date for that critical analysis paper. And the weekly work is designed to get you to the point where you're able to do what it's asking you to do here. Also, only the highest paper score will count toward your grade. So there's 2 assigned, but you're only going to keep your top score. And this will give you an opportunity to learn from the feedback that I will give you on the first paper in order to try to get a higher score on the second paper. Okay, so you'll complete your first paper. I'll give you tons of feedback on that. If your score is lower than you would like, then you can try to complete the second paper. It's going to be over a different topic, but it'll be the same basic principle. And you can use the principles of the feedback that I give you to help try to improve your second paper. Or if you're satisfied with the first score, then you could just not write the second paper. That's an option too. Okay, but again, 2 papers assigned, you'll keep your top score. And then you can see how these various assignments are weighted. So the Learn Smart assignments collectively altogether are worth 10% of your final grade. The lecture responses collectively are worth 10% of your final grade. Discussion boards are worth 10% of your final grade. The quizzes are 20%. The tests are collectively 30%. And then the highest critical analysis paper will count as 20% of your final grade. And then you can see the grading scale here, just a standard grading scale. And then below that, there's a schedule of topics. So this just lets you know each week what topic it is that we're covering. And then a little bit about my makeup and late exam policy. I'll let you read that for yourself. Withdrawal policy, you have till April the 10th to withdraw from the class on your own. If it's after that, you'll have to ask for my permission. And a little bit about classroom etiquette. I'll let you read that for yourself as well. So read the rest of the syllabus, but that's the probably the most important parts of the syllabus. Okay, and then below that, you will also see links to rubrics. So these rubrics are how I grade different kinds of assignments. So you'll see a link to a discussion board rubric. So to download this, you just click the 3 dots off to the side and click Download Original File, and that will open up a PDF. Eventually, there we go. And so this just lets you know how I'm grading those kinds of assignments. So you can take a look at that. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And then when we get a little bit closer to the due date for the paper and the test, you'll want to come back here and read these rubrics for the paper and the test essays. Okay, so that's syllabus and rubrics. Below that, another link to my virtual office space there that we've seen before. And then also there's a link to course VoiceThread. So I mentioned I use VoiceThread as a way of delivering lecture material to you. I will always link out to specific VoiceThreads in the weekly folders. I don't know that you'll ever need to use this link, but in case you want to view all the VoiceThreads that have been assigned for the course, you can click this link and get those. But importantly, the next 3 videos you need to watch after you watch this video. Okay, so those VoiceThreads will always be some sort of an assignment. It will either just ask you to watch the VoiceThread and submit after you're done that you've watched it, or it will ask you to comment on a prompt that I will give you in the lecture itself, and then submit that comment. So these 2 videos show how to complete those assignments. So you'll definitely want to watch those 2 videos after you get done watching this one. And then also there's the Learn Smart assignments as well. This video here covers how to do those. So I would certainly watch that as well, particularly if you haven't had a course that uses either VoiceThread or Learn Smart. Certainly make sure you watch those videos before moving on. And then lastly, there is a folder here that just contains some additional resources. These things are things that might be valuable for any online course you take. So what to do if you need accommodations, academic resources, link to the library, that kind of thing. A little bit about technology and troubleshooting, some help guides for Blackboard Ultra in case you need it. Okay, so this is just kind of reference material that might be valuable to you for any online course you happen to take here at ECTC. Okay, so that is the Start Here folder. So once you've finished watching this video and watching those other videos I just pointed you to, then you can come into week number 1 and begin working on the assignments. Okay, so this is an 8-week course, which means it is faster paced than a more traditional 16-week course. And for that reason, I divide up the weeks into folders to help you pace yourself. So my recommendation would be to take one folder per day rather than trying to complete all 3 folders in one day. If you wait until Sunday to complete all 3 folders, that's going to be a lot to deal with. So I would try to pace yourself if at all possible, but all of the assignments in all 3 folders are due at the end of the day on March 20th on Sunday. So the weeks run from Monday to Sunday, and then on Monday the 21st a new folder will open up, and then you'll have a week to complete those. Okay, so in the week 1 part 1 folder, what is philosophy? If you click the arrow here, it will open up first of all a set of instructions. It's very important to read these instructions. Okay, so click this link, and this will show you what it is you need to do for this folder. It gives you an overview of the module, and then below that the instructions. So you can see here there's 4 things that you need to do in this folder. One is to introduce yourself to the class through the class introductions voice thread, complete Learn Smart section 1.1, watch and respond to lecture 1.1, and then complete this philosophical health check. And remember, this one needs to be done by March 16th. So this is the one exception. Most of this is due March 20th, and this one is the only exception since it's being used to register your attendance for the course. Okay, so once you read these instructions, then you can close out of this, and then this is the various links you need to complete those instructions. So if you remember, the first was to introduce yourself to the class using the class introductions voice thread link, and so that's right here. The link here gives you a reminder about how to leave voice thread comments, but you will have already watched a video on how to do that before you get here. Okay, but if you click this link, you will see a video of me introducing myself. There I am. And so you'll hit play and watch that, and then after I get done introducing myself, you're going to leave a comment introducing yourself. And the way to do that is just to click this speaker bubble with a plus sign at the bottom.
Hello, philosophers, and welcome to...
Pause that. And then you select your method, so you can either type your response in, or use your phone, or use your microphone on your computer, or your webcam. For the introductions, I would much prefer you either use your microphone or video, just so we can see it's an actual human being here that we have in our classes. Okay, so, but you'll introduce yourself, and then that way we can get to know each other a little bit. Okay, and then next to that, there's the link to the Learn Smart assignment. And so you will have already watched the video on how to complete these Learn Smart assignments, so there's a link to that. And then a link to lecture 1.1. This is a voice thread of me giving the first lecture for the course, and then it will also ask you to leave 2 comments. So I will prompt you in the lecture itself on how to do that. And again, you will have watched the video on how to complete these kinds of assignments from the Start Here folder. And then importantly, there's this philosophical health check. This is what you need to complete a little bit earlier. Okay, so this is due on the 16th. I need to change this due date here. It's due on the 16th. So to complete this, you'll click this philosophical health check link, which will take you to an external website where you will answer some questions. Now, you'll just read these statements and select whether you agree or disagree with them. And what this is testing you on is not whether your beliefs are true or false, but whether or not your beliefs are consistent with one another. And so I'm just going to very quickly click agree to all of these. Of course, you want to read these, and I'm not even reading them. Okay, but you'll want to read them and click whether you agree or disagree. And then once you've completed all of them, it is going to give you a assessment on the consistency of your philosophical beliefs. So I'm not concerned how well you do on this. If you don't do well, that's totally fine. It's just an exercise to get us started thinking about the kinds of things we'll consider in the class. And so you'll click the appropriate links, and then at the end it's going to ask for some demographic information, which you can either put in or say not saying. Okay, so I'm just going to click not saying here. And then once you fill that out and hit next, it will take you to this. Okay, so this is what I want you to cut and paste into the assignment. So it will give you this analysis. So what I'd like you to do is just highlight this paragraph and cut and paste it into Blackboard. So to do that, just right click and hit copy. And then you can go back to Blackboard, and then you'll see Philosophical Health Check Assignment. So click this link and click View Assessment. And then you will see a text box here. Click into the text box and then click right click and paste. And it will paste your analysis in there. And then click Submit and submit again. And it will tell you your submission was successful. And that's all there is to completing the philosophical health check. Okay, so again, remember to complete that by the 16th of March in order to be counted present in the course. Okay, so that's the week 1, part 1. And then after you complete that, again, I would spend about, you reserve 1 day for doing that, and then another day, come in here and complete week 1, part 2. And again, you'll have another set of instructions, links to complete those instructions. And then again, there's week 1, part 3 with another set of instructions and links to complete those. Okay, and so that's the pattern of the course. And so again, all 3 of those parts are due by March 20th, with the one exception of the philosophical health check, which is due a little bit earlier. And then on March 21st, a week 2 folder will be made available to you, which will also consist of 3 or 4 folders. And then those will each have instructions for you to complete. And that pattern will continue for the rest of the course. So hopefully that gets you oriented to what you need to know in order to get started on the course. As always, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to email me and I will get back to you. And I'm looking forward to the course ahead, and I'm looking forward to hearing your introductions to get to know each other. Thank you.